Hello, hello. Gonna wait a moment, let everyone pop in. For those watching this later, hope you're having a great day. Hope you had a great day. And Tiffany will be right here in just a moment. Hold on real quick. All right. So we got some people in. Thrifty Nomads, of course. Amazing couple. Amazing resellers. So I'll start off by saying, though, well, first I'll take off this beautiful. And hold on. Oh, look, there you go. It's gone. So I'll start by saying first, so today, early this morning, we had our live chat with our Generation 1099 video group, which was led by Von Thrifty Rich on YouTube. So if you'd like, yes, go check out that video. We talked a little bit of our background, their background, and how we all go about things. That was our first video, so it was pretty fun. All right, we got more people coming in. Here she comes to save the day. All right. Okay. So,
hi, everyone.
Yes. So, as we mentioned earlier, we like to do every other week, alternating between focusing on reselling only and then also talking a little bit about health.
Loretta's here.
So this week, we're going to talk a little bit about health.
And reselling.
And reselling, because we end up going back to that. So the first thing I want to talk about was diets, really, because there's a lot of people out there that jump on different diets because they're popular. They're not necessarily bad, but the reality is not all diets are for everyone. Diets are normally a set structure that don't adjust or work with everyone's.
It's not a lifestyle, it's temporary. Diets tend to be temporary, and it's not a long-term setup, and rather you want to create healthy habits versus, a diet that's going to last a few months, or cutting things out that you might fall back on later on.
Yeah, and in some cases, diets are a great way to start changing your habits. If that's what works for you, then I totally understand. But I was curious, is anyone out there doing any specific type of diet? Anyone say keto or paleo?
Intermittent fasting.
Let's see if we get any responses there. Just a couple of guys in here. We'll wait for some responses there. So we'll start with keto first. We'll just talk about keto. There's a lot of people in the community.
Pizza and taco diet.
I'm not gonna lie, we're on that diet. Well, before we can go on to other diets, we'll talk about our diet. So we try to be more portion controlled. So we actually eat everything. We had McDonald's the other night. But we also adjust. Like, if we have McDonald's, that means we're not going to go off and have McDonald's today or tomorrow.
That was like a last minute, we're starving.
Yeah.
Poor decisions were made because we didn't have food ready.
And I was hungry.
Yeah.
Sounds like everyone loves tacos.
Bren Lizzie's trying keto. It's only been 3 weeks. So how are you liking keto so far?
Yeah, anyone on here doing keto besides her? Meal replacement with shakes.
Yeah, so okay. I know Loretta does paleo. She had talked about that before. Anti-inflammatory foods, and that's great. And by diets, it's lifestyle change, because paleo, it's more of a lifestyle change, and certain things, certain ingredients are really not good for your body. It does increase inflammation. For me, with lupus, there are certain foods that will be more inflammatory. There are certain things that I can eat that will help decrease inflammation. Turmeric is really good for you for inflammation. Yeah, keto, couldn't hang long term. That happens. Yeah, 30 pounds on keto, and then, oftentimes it comes back. So, like, you go on keto, you go on these diets, you lose a lot of weight, and then when you come back to living a regular life and going to parties and going to weddings and all that,
Yeah.
the weight comes back on because your body was missing something for so long.
Yeah, and that's another thing that's hard is oftentimes diets don't account for cultural festivities, whether it's birthdays, whether it's Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter. I mean, a lot of these diets don't account for that, so it makes things very difficult. So part of the diet thing, it's best if you can do things with a partner, family.
Exactly. So, Loretta, paleo is easy to maintain, but allow yourself a piece of cake or a beer once in a while, and that is the perfect way to go about making any changes, because we work with people who will cut things out or will approach us as trainers and say, well, I'm going to completely cut, X, Y, and Z out. I'm never going to have pizza again. I'm never going to have a burger. And I'm going to completely go cold turkey, which makes it really hard for them to actually develop and maintain the habit.
Yeah, stick to it.
Because it's like what is it called when you
Binge?
go cold turkey? Oh, well, yeah, and then you binge, and then you
relapse.
Yeah, you relapse. And then you binge on all the food because you go so long without having it. And then that's what we tend to see with like some of our newer clients who think that they need to cut.
Way.
Yeah, instead of portion control, they're completely cutting things out and won't and feel guilty about it. So that's a problem when you're trying to create a lifestyle. You don't want to feel guilty about your choices, and it's really about learning to make better choices.
Yeah, I saw on there Rad Seller said she quit soda.
Okay, that's a good thing.
That's a good one.
That one we won't.
And it's not always easy for people to quit soda. So
yeah.
We still have sodas, but we do the Coke Zeros. But we normally will have
it's once in a while.
Yeah.
It's definitely not every day. We don't replace our water with the diet sodas. But when we are craving something bubbly, we will have it, and we're not going to regret having it or feel bad about having it.
Yeah, and then also going back to, again, water. I know we're all talking about it and sharing posts. And by all means, if you guys have more water posts, tag us. We love them, and we'll share. But when you start these different diets, including paleo and keto, a significant part of it is your water intake. When you're changing how your body digests the food you're eating, because you're either eating a very high protein, high fat diet, your body's going to need the water so it could properly digest and get things going. So if you are doing the keto diets and or paleo for that, make sure you get your water in. And not just to drink water, like it's going to help your body digest your new diet system.
I'm trying to practice intuitive eating and intermittent fasting. That's great. Intuitive eating works. Intermittent fasting, for those of you who don't know what intermittent fasting is, it's usually 8 hours where you're allowed to eat your entire day's worth of food, and you go 16 hours without eating, and the 16 hours includes the hours in which you sleep. So if you are fasting prior to your first meal, you can have 0-calorie drinks. And by that, you can have like unsweetened iced tea. You can have black coffee, not sugar and cream coffee.
Mm-hmm. Not even with like butter or any fat.
Yeah, like so it's supposed to be 0 calories, and that's part of intermittent fasting. Cutting out soda. Most people don't realize how many calories is in a can of soda, but 1 can of Coke, I believe, is 26 grams of sugar.
Yeah.
In 1 can, which is like 120 calories or 140 calories, something like that.
Yeah.
And cutting out soda will significantly change your diet and change your weight.
And not just soda, too, because what happens is people will lean to, well, I don't drink soda, I drink lemonade.
Yeah, and then lemonade is sometimes even worse.
In
the
terms
juices.
of the sugar content,
Juices can be worse, or the sugary coffees from Starbucks. We had a client who used to drink the venti frappuccinos, and she didn't realize how much sugar was actually in it until we pulled it up on a little food app like MyFitnessPal. And it was very clear how much sugar was in it, and she was consuming about 3 days worth of sugar in one drink.
Yeah, those are heavy.
Mimi Love Couture, I really like rum raisin ice cream too. I'm assuming you're talking about Haagen-Dazs. That's like
it's
my
delicious.
favorite ice cream. Keto is helping on portions. I tried eating healthy, but I was always hungry. On keto, I'm not as hungry. I want to get used to the small portions and slowly go to balancing food. And that's good.
Great way to get yourself into healthy habits is starting a very structured diet and then learn to balance that diet.
Oh, sorry.
And we're back.
Oh, yeah. Starbucks drinks are so much worse than soda pop because most people have, no one's going to go in there and ask for a tall frappuccino. Someone's going to go in and say a venti.
Grande or a venti. The smallest most often.
And most grandes are like 400 to 500 calories. And with 400 to 500 calories, you could have had, an entire meal.
Yeah.
With protein and healthy carbs and all this other stuff. But in one drink, you drink it in like 10 minutes and that's an entire meal's worth gone. Yeah. I'm just making conscious decisions about what goes in, and I'm adding some sort of activity daily. I can't cut out everything. I just limit it. Perfect. And that's Thrifting Nomads. There's a boiled egg. I've heard of that. Actually, I heard someone do a potato diet, which was really weird.
Yeah, so there's diets out there that, they give you a result in terms of losing weight.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when you break down what you're actually intaking, you're starving your body, so you're not going to have the nutrients you need. But I believe that potato diet was literally like you could have drink potato water and eat potato, and that's
it was like you boiled the water and then you drank the starchy water, and it was something weird. Yeah. And
that's your potato for the day. I don't know. Point is though, when you're on a diet that's very limited like that. What's the other one? Is it the South Beach diet? The one that's cayenne pepper and.
That's not the South Beach.
No.
No. You're talking about that maple syrup drink.
Yeah, sorry.
So there's one that was like the maple syrup diet, and you drank, I think it was like maple syrup with lemon, water, and cayenne pepper, something like that.
Yeah.
But it was like that's all you drank all day. And if anyone watches The Office on here, I think Kelly does it when they're trying to lose weight on the show, and she gets really gaunt and her eyes go dark.
All
and
sunken.
They're sunken in, and she doesn't have energy, and then I think she collapses on the show because she's only drinking sugar water.
Yeah.
So not great. When you see the quick results on a diet, oftentimes it's water loss versus actual fat loss. And so it's balancing things out so that
we recommend for people, sometimes people want a quick weight loss drop because they have an event coming in 10-15 days. The safest way to go about it is cut out processed food for that time, including sugar. And it sounds very basic, but what happens there is in the process of a few days, your body starts just getting rid of so much water that you retain, because anytime you get anything that's pre-packed, it's going to be higher in sodium, which means you're going to have water retention.
Or you can be like Hugo and just eat raw asparagus, and then you can just pee it all out.
That's true. So there's a couple of vegetables that'll actually promote peeing. So one of them is asparagus, and the other is cabbage, and I think Brussels sprouts too, maybe? I'm not sure.
Maybe.
But the point of that is if you have a high sodium diet, you eat that stuff to help get your body to start flushing out. You pee a lot.
A lot. And the asparagus makes your pee smell funny.
Yeah. And then real quick, for those who don't know, because I don't know, I can't expect everyone to know what keto is, but the keto diet it's not just a low carb diet. It's supposed to be just focused on a high fat, high protein diet.
Yeah. So, there's low carb diets where, if you're tracking your food and you're tracking the grams of carbs and protein and fats that you consume, a lower carb diet might mean, with every meal you're eating mostly vegetables with the protein, and you're still able to have some rice or some pasta, something a little bit higher in carbs. But on keto, you're limited to what I believe is less than 30 grams of carbs.
Yeah, oftentimes it's 20 something.
Yeah. And that means that you're really only allowed to eat like the greens.
Yeah, because again,
you can't have fruit.
Grains are carbs, and they have a certain amount of carbs in them. So when they say limited to under 30 grams, it's because it should be 30 grams of green carbs.
Yeah, because the colorful carbs are still going to have a lot of sugar. Like carrots have a lot of sugar, tomatoes have sugar, fruits. So if you like having fruit is not bad for you if consumed in moderation, but fruit is still sugar. So if you are resorting to only eating fruit as your healthy alternative, it's still sugar. So
Bye, Red Seller. She has to get back to work.
Yes.
Thanks for stopping by.
So, it's balance. It's really about trying to balance it all out. I liked having all the protein. Bacon is life.
Yeah, and that is kind of a thing with a keto diet is bacon is life.
Yeah.
And again, we have nothing against the diet. We just like to explain to people because the other part about the keto diet is you can't technically do keto during the week and then not the weekend, which we've heard and had clients that believe in that.
I'm keto Monday through Friday, and then I cheat on the weekends.
Yeah, so you can say I'm low carb Monday through Friday,
exactly.
and then but just to understand that's not keto because keto you have to enter into ketosis, which is a point where your body starts digesting fats to create energy. Instead of your usual body's form of getting energy, which is carbs.
So if you're doing like sugar on the weekends, if you're in ketosis after 2 to 3 days, which is usually how long it takes.
Well, no, it could take you up to 14 to even 21 days sometimes to fully get into ketosis, meaning your body will officially be working off of the fat you're eating. But that's consecutive. So if you do
and you can
week and then you do 3 days off.
Yeah, so you're in ketosis for 2 days, or you're finally in keto for 3 days, and then you go and you eat, a bunch of carby stuff.
Yeah, or you go to
fall back out.
Exactly.
And Loretta made a good point. If you're going to eat all this protein, try to make it organic, grass-fed, and that's going to be healthier for you if that's the kind of diet that you're going to be on. There are certain foods that you don't need to have organic. So I know that there's always the argument like organic food is more expensive. Yeah, it can be pricier. It's, not everything needs to be organic when you are choosing the right foods.
Yeah.
If you're not eating the skin on something, there are certain things, if you're peeling, you don't have to buy it organic and it's fine. Yeah.
And then in terms of the protein you choose, chicken, beef, or whatever, the reason we say if you're going to be a high protein, and like she mentioned, high protein diets, you should go organic and free range. If you're once in a while having beef and it's not organic, okay, you'll be fine. But when you're having high amounts of beef and chicken and it's not organic and you're getting the stuff that's on the cheaper side and it's full of antibiotics, you're more prone to getting higher levels of all the stuff the animal ate.
Yeah.
So when you're doing high protein, you should lean towards the free range and organic just to reduce the amount of stuff you get in. Because remember, whatever anything before you ate, you get it too.
Yeah. Or the walking chicken. That's what they call it at Vietnamese restaurants. If you ever go to a Vietnamese restaurant and you're trying to ask for like the chicken, and you're asking if it's organic chicken, you go and you ask, is it the walking chicken? I know a guy that says I'm doing part keto. Yeah, no, that's just low carb.
Part keto.
Yeah, if you're doing part keto, you're low carb.
Again, it's fine if you're low carb. That's good. It's just to recognize if you're low carb or you're keto.
Yeah, and being low carb versus being keto are two different things. Similar, but not.
Not. What we got going on in here? Yeah, and then for those who don't know, the paleo diet, the simplest way it's been, we got an offer. The simplest way that it could be explained is, they say it's eating like a caveman. And what that means is really cutting out processed foods, including a lot of the grains that are man-made in terms of that weren't around back in the day, the grains that we develop over time. And the idea behind that is to help reduce possible inflammation.
Yeah, and if you, Loretta, my aunt died from her bowel surgery because she was antibiotic resistant and died from her surgery infection. So that's how antibiotics can compound in your system.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that's what we're saying. Like, if you're a person that has, like, beef once in a blue moon and it's not organic, it's not that bad. But when you're having high doses of protein, it's best if you could avoid having whatever was in the animal before you.
Yeah. And especially with chronic illnesses where inflammation takes precedent, like you do need to be more careful with the kind of foods that you're putting in your body, because your body reacts to different foods more viciously.
Yeah,
I think.
Like with your lupus. If we go through a long bout of
I feel
not
pretty
watching
awful.
our food.
Yeah, my headaches come back, my body, my joints,
pain.
my joints are swollen, my joint pain. I have like a lot more swelling in my body. And then, someone actually brought up, is the less legs the better still true about meat? I haven't actually heard that.
Less legs the better, in terms of like a cow has 4 legs and a chicken has 2 and a fish has none? Is that your point?
Maybe.
If so, I've never heard of that.
I've never heard of that either.
But it sounds like you're getting leaner.
Yeah.
You're getting leaner. I mean, there is lean cuts of beef, but when you get down to chicken, you get leaner, and then you get down to fish, and that's pretty lean.
Yeah, I had a coworker that lost 100 pounds on keto, and he's still on it. He's been about 3 years. That's great.
That's great. Again,
that's amazing. And keto, it originally started not as a diet, but as a lifestyle change for people with illnesses.
Yeah.
And so it was really used for kids with autism, kids with ADHD, people with diabetes, with cancer.
Certain cancers. And the idea behind it was to control the, again, inflammation related to how our bodies process food. So it's not for everyone, but it could definitely help.
Yes.
Ooh. Let's go here.
Keto give high cholesterol. So the problem with, with all the different diets and with all the information about food and nutrition that we all hear, that information changes on a daily basis because there's always research being performed on fitness and nutrition. So everything that you hear today might change a month from now. Everything that we heard once about eggs being bad for you and causing high cholesterol.
All the talk about don't eat the yolk.
Yeah, and now eat the yolk because it actually promotes good cholesterol. So with keto, there's a lot of research still being performed to verify if it's going to give you high cholesterol. And I've seen research that shows it does. And then I've also seen conflicting research against it.
Yeah, so especially if you're going to start something for especially medical reasons, if you're doing keto or paleo, it's best you keep in touch to what's going on. So keep well read with it.
Yeah. What foods do I avoid? I don't really avoid anything too much. I try to just eat better. I'll still have, I think
sodium is the thing.
Yes, things that are really high in sodium I try to stay away from because I will still have... So the problem is that I also have really low blood pressure. And with my low blood pressure, there's a medicine that I can... Well, no. With my other lupus symptoms, which causes... Raynaud's phenomenon, which means that I have poor circulation in my fingertips. I am required to take a pill that lowers my blood pressure, but I already have very low blood pressure. So when I went to the doctor, they actually told me to increase my sodium. And they said, go eat anything that's really high in sodium.
I think a while ago, she tried to donate blood with me. And they were like, yeah, no,
They denied me.
You can't.
They didn't want my blood.
Yeah.
But I usually try to be better with my food in terms of like incorporating more vegetables. I actually don't eat too much bread. Occasionally we do. He eats a lot of bread. I try not to eat too much bread. But it's more, I incorporate a lot more vegetables, and I'll do a lot of like healthier snacks or like yogurt and stuff like that,
Probiotics, fermented foods.
Yeah.
Let's see, what do we got here?
Amanda got excited with the cha-ching and thought it was Jacob's phone. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, false alarm.
It was our phone because you guys gave us good luck.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Let's
see what we got.
Cha-ching.
Yeah, so I mean, that's mostly we wanted to talk about the diets. Is it's not for everyone. Read up on it. I know a lot of times people just jump in because somebody else did it and found success. But it's not for everyone. We always bring up the cultural aspect with food. Like she said, in her family, when we sit down for dinner, it's a bowl of rice and plenty of vegetables and a little bit of meat. It's actually less meat than vegetables on their table. But if we went and said, okay, you guys can't have rice, that's like, what do you mean I can't have rice? So it's really difficult to like change a culture. So then we just say, adjust.
Just less of it.
Less rice, yeah.
Yeah.
There's Ivy flipping daily.
Hi, Kenneth.
So I don't know if you guys saw, we had a chance to be on a live YouTube show that we're going to be doing now for the first Monday of every month, and Kenneth was on there. And we're also doing. It's led by Yvonne.
Yeah, but if you haven't seen the YouTube segment. Kenneth, Ivy Flipping Daily, gave a really good tip on getting the hair and gunk out of Velcro. What is it called? How do you
hook and loop?
Hook and loop.
Because we did get a message once, because in one of the listings she put down Velcro strap for something in the shoe. Thankfully, we just got a message that said, hey, you got to change that in 2 days or you're going to get suspended. So hook and loop.
Use a dog brush.
Yep.
And get it out quick.
Yeah, so if you guys go check out the episode, you guys will be able to see him do it, and it's pretty amazing. And there's other tips and tricks Yvonne gave out that are simple, yet we haven't done them, and then we're like, obviously, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you guys don't have any other questions related to food, snacks, drinks, we could ask about reselling now. And see if you guys have any questions about reselling.
So how are everyone's sales today? I saw Thrifting Nomads had
a
ton of sales.
And related to that, guys, and we said it, we talked about that in the morning show. Don't be discouraged if you see the posts of mountains of sales. Everyone does things differently. Some people ship on Saturdays. So our pile on Monday is not always a big pile, but that's because we ship out on Saturday morning. So if I didn't ship out Saturday, that means Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all those sales would be that beautiful Monday stack.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be discouraged and don't compare.
Yeah. Lunch money hustle. I was picking up a printer at the thrift store, and as soon as I paid for it, I got a sale for another printer.
That's awesome.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah, like we had socks up for a while, and all of a sudden our socks sold out. Like, socks are in.
Yeah. Apparently people didn't wear socks prior to January.
Yeah. They're not big sales, but the fact that all of a sudden socks are selling was pretty funny.
Wake and ship. I'm new, so my sales are here and there, but I have some things to photograph, but my daughter has the flu. Oh, we hope she feels better. The flu is really bad.
Yeah, and it's hit some people real hard.
Yeah.
Well, best we can say is take care of your daughter, and when she sleeps,
do what you can.
Do what you can.
Yeah. Funky Cold had 22 this weekend, sent Poshmark offers on the 1st of the month. You know what, the offers, it worked for us because I think I did it on Thursday or Friday. I think it was like 2 in the morning, and I sent out all these offers and made a few sales by the time we woke up.
Yeah, so then Saturday I shipped out a few Poshmark from it.
Which platform? So we sell on Mercari, Poshmark, eBay. eBay is our number one, and Amazon.
And then we do local sales, not really that much though.
Thrifting Catalulis. We have an auction ending at 9 and made some good money on the Polly Pocket. That's awesome. So Amanda and Jacob had these old Polly Pocket, and they were, I think it was a few of them that you guys had, which was pretty awesome. Oh yeah, Loretta's son had the flu all last week.
Yeah. And I know she was doing her best to work. And so the beauty of reselling is it's adaptable. Mm-hmm. As long as you're willing to make it adaptable. So she posted how she had all these goals for the week.
Yeah.
But life took over with her boy and being sick. And
he made it to school today.
Yeah.
Even though the bus didn't take him. But he made it to school.
Yeah, but so she adjusted. So she might have not done everything she was planning to do, mm-hmm. but she didn't sit there and let it go and say, I'll get to it next week since I can't right now.
Yeah. Do you guys take most of your photos with natural light? I prefer to, yes, but we also have 2 LED lights that we use. But if I usually do all my photos, well, for clothes, I do all my photos on Friday. And that's because I don't have to be in the office for my other job. So Friday, I work from home.
I'm not home to bother her.
Yeah, I don't have any distractions. So then Friday, I'll normally get up early, and then I'll just photograph anything clothing related in natural light. We do have an Amazon light box for our hard goods. And then we have 2 LED lights that we use when natural light is no longer available.
Yeah, because even with natural light, sometimes it's just not bright enough.
Yeah, on certain items. How much inventory do you have listed to be... Well, do we have listed, or like, are you asking in order to be considered?
That number is hard.
You could have 20 items, but if you're selling...
If you have a good connection and your 20 items all...
It doesn't...
net you great money, then 20 items are amazing.
You mean if they net you great?
Yeah.
Not the opposite. Okay. So, yeah, but you know what he's saying.
I mean, so it's hard to say an exact number.
There's no...
but a good way of looking at it, too, though, is if you have say you have 20 shirts, you're not going to get constant sales. And you probably won't get those sales that quick sometimes, unless they're really hot shirts that everyone's looking for, because your inventory is limited. A lot of people talk about the comparison. If you go into a department store and all they have is 20 shirts, what's the likelihood that you're going to walk into that store and actually buy it? So the more items you get, the more quality items you get, the better chances of sales being a little more frequent. Mm-hmm. So what that means, don't fill it up just with items that you get for $1 to sell for $5 or something.
Yeah, because a store can have 1,000 items, but it's 1,000 items that are listed at $12 an item, versus someone else who has 50 items, but each item is listed at $100 an item. So, just it's whatever is your goal and your business model. If you have 50 items to list and that is your store, that's your store.
Yeah.
Don't look at other people who have thousands of items, because it does not matter.
No. And some people have wholesale accounts, and that's why they have those big numbers in terms of sales. But keep in mind, normally when you do wholesale, your net gets a little bit smaller, your profits there, because you're going to pay up a little bit more than if you're doing thrifts. So again, it's choosing the right model for yourself.
Yeah. And like Loretta's saying, if you're a stay-at-home parent or have a chronic illness, you can slay when you feel good, or have a chunk of time so when things go sideways, you're okay. And that's what happened, with a few people in here. And Loretta's son, and then Wake and Ship's kid is sick. And then last week I was out. It was not a good week for me. I was luckily, my other job is very understanding, and I stayed home.
We appreciate them.
And I appreciate my other job very much because they are very understanding of my illness. But it was a hard week, and sales were still coming in, but I was at home, and I did not list very much. I didn't do much photographing until Friday when I felt a little bit better. But the rest of the week, it was slow in terms of doing actual work, besides the shipping part.
Yeah, the shipping part I take care of. But in terms of the listing, especially clothing, because she does the clothing, it was not happening. But the thing is, when she's good, she did so much that when she needs to back off, she leaves the system working.
Yeah. Scott Aloha. I keep having lots of stuff built up since I only have a couple of hours a week to build listings. Should I keep buying or focus on my stockpile?
That's a hard question that everyone has for others and themselves. I mean, we've heard it, and we also wonder what others people do.
It's in your budget. So if you're running out of, if you keep buying and you're out of money completely, then maybe slow it down a little bit.
Yeah, and then the other thing, too, is that we bring up death piles, money piles, whichever one you want to call it. Keep in mind, when you bought this mug life is not necessarily big money, but say you found this mug and when you looked it up, it was selling for $40. That's awesome. If you take it home and leave it in a pile and then 2-3 months later you list it, it might no longer be a hot mug.
Yeah.
So the comps you look up, and if that's the reason you buy an item, trends change. So that comp is related to the moment you bought it. So if you take too long to list these things,
it might not give you the ROI that you were looking at.
And it's happened to us. Yeah. I've picked up electronics where I'll look at it and I'm like, whew, this is pretty good. Then later on, it's not even worth listing because... And
I also want to add in terms of sourcing, Loretta made a really good point. I think it was 2 weeks ago in her story, she talked about people talking about their death piles and their money piles, and she was saying, because she's in Canada, because of the weather, because of that, if she's at a thrift store and she sees a lot of items and they're good items, she's gonna buy it all because she needs to have a money pile on hand for days when her son is sick or when the weather conditions are so bad she can't get out of the house. Then she has a pile of stuff to source from at home, instead of working through all of it, and then the day comes where emergencies happen, she can't go out to source, she actually has a pile to pull from at home.
Yeah, I've heard of some resellers that focus on not having any piles, and that's a great system. Mm-hmm. But I think for the most part we all have at least a little pile.
Yeah, so right now we have a lot of stuff.
Yeah. But that's because it's been hard to turn away from the thrift stores when we've gone and say...
The KonMari thing is real around
At least around us. I know it's not for everyone, but
when we've gone lately, the donations have been high. So we're seeing really good items, that it's hard for us to turn away from. So we do have quite a bit of both clothing items and hard goods that need to be listed. And... it's there. I need to work on focusing on photos for a whole day or listing for a whole day. For us, I like to work in time blocks. So I feel like I'm a little bit more productive if I'm doing, a few hours at a time doing the photos, because then I'll just have all these photos on hand. And I list on the computer, so I upload everything into the computer, and then I'll just drag and drop to create my listings. And I could do it at night, versus if I don't have the photos ready and it's nighttime and I don't have good lighting, and I do prefer natural lighting for clothing photos, I don't have to worry about not having things to list and pull from, because I already have a whole folder of photos that are ready.
Photos and measurements and all that.
Death racks. We've slowed down on clothes. Yeah. On eBay, the promo feature, we do promote it We do promoted.
Yeah, we do promoted listings. We don't match.
Yeah, we do not follow. So personally, we do not follow eBay's suggestion, which is normally like
It's up
20%. You know, this item needs to go.
Every category and item is different, but it's just.
Yeah.
I keep it low, and the purpose of putting in promoted listing, it's great that your item, your listing gets put up top or a little bit higher, but mostly it's because I believe that's how your item has an opportunity to become a suggested item. Mm-hmm. So if going back to a mug, if somebody went to look at this mug that's already sold, at the bottom it often will tell you here's other things you might be interested in. Those tend to, I believe they have to be promoted listings in order to even be a suggested item. So if it lets us become a suggested item, sure. But we keep it low. Yeah,
and yard sales, if you're in an area where you are not able to source yard sales year long, luckily where we are in Southern California, there's really no on or off season for yard sales. It's just...
As long as it's not raining.
If it's not raining, which it doesn't, 95% of the year, there's a yard sale somewhere. Yeah. But in Canada or in like the Midwest right now where it's snowing and then freezing and you don't have yard sales, if you have the money to source it and save it.
Yeah, because the other thing too is right now we have the funds to buy, and when we get down to the summer slowdown where it happens, depends on your type of items you sell, it might not be as bad of a slowdown. But if we hit that slowdown, at least if we don't have the funds to shop, we have a pile to continue working from. Yeah. So that helps too.
I actually stockpiled inventory because I knew I was going to have to walk away from my day job.
Yeah, see, and again...
Loretta the enabler. No, you make a very good point. And, I mean...
No, yeah, and the only time I'd say stop is if you go from... Say you give yourself the amount of money you have, $100 for inventory sourcing, and then you go, and then slowly you're like, you know what, I have credit cards. I'm just start putting this on credit cards.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't start going into credit for
if you have items. The cash flow... physical cash flow to do so, then invest that money into the business.
But unless you're ready to really use your credit line for things because you're confident what you're shopping for, avoid using your credit card.
Yeah. So I use an iPhone. I connect my phone to the computer and then I just uploaded it onto iPhotos.
She's old school.
I am very old school. Because the AirDrop on my computer doesn't work either. So I have to physically connect it. And then I import the photos. I put it into my unlisted folders. And then as I list, I drop them into a listed folder. Oh, nice. Amanda and Jacob, maybe together, are going to go to the bins tomorrow.
That's awesome.
See, I sold a pair of cleats. I paid $6 for $79.99. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Reselling with Rob's on here.
Yeah, and in terms of cleats, I mentioned it a while, maybe last week in the story. Cleats are seasonal items. So oftentimes when the cleats go on sale and you get that great deal, it's because the season's ended. Mm-hmm. So you might pick it up and it might not sell, but later when the season picks up, you're gonna have a pair of cleats that you can sell. So
don't freak out if your cleats don't sell, a week from when you list it, because we sold lacrosse cleats, right? A few weeks ago, we sold lacrosse cleats that we had picked up, I think in the summer of 2018.
Yeah, a while ago.
And it was just sitting there.
But then they came up and no offer. They just bought it full price. Mm-hmm. But it's because the seasons
are coming. And we're selling track cleats,
cleats, baseball, soccer. I mean, we do all the cleats that we find. But again, not every cleat is great. We've had cleats that we pick up.
Certain brands for us do not work out.
Yeah.
There are certain cleat brands that they're super cheap, and they're, really good.
The comparable price tag, it says it supposedly sells high.
Do they even play rugby here?
There are leagues.
Oh. Because Loretta sold rugby cleats. I've never seen rugby cleats here.
I'm
Like
not
in
sure.
our local stores.
Not specifically. That's why. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's not a big thing here where rugby cleats are probably going to be people using a variation of football or soccer cleats.
Yeah. Yeah, so recently there was the Ross sale, and I'm sure most people on here saw social media blow up the Ross sale.
Blow up the Ross sale.
We picked up cleats for $1.
Yeah.
Under Armour cleats for $1. So whatever we make off of that $1, those dollar cleats.
But we also understand that we bought them knowing that if we found these, because remember, this is a major store. Ross is a major store.
Mm-hmm.
So if we picked up these cleats at that price at this store, I'm sure a lot of people picked them at the same price, which means the market will eventually be flooded. So we understand we're not going to get huge top dollar for it. But at that price, we'll make something and it's worthwhile.
Yeah. Orlando's here.
Hola.
Yes, long tail, and that's fine.
Yeah, and you're gonna have items. You're gonna have items that flip fairly quick, and you'll have items that sit around. We had snow gear that we were listing and selling within a week because it's the season, and other states are frozen.
Yeah. So I don't know how everyone sources. Like like we were talking about this the other day.
Well, because Reseller
Revolution was talking about what to source, and we won't just source for the season. So because it's winter, we're looking ahead.
Yeah, we already do our best. Yeah.
So we already have a lot of winter items listed and have been listed.
Yeah, we've had pants, jeans, jackets. We've had them up.
Yeah, but right now we were picking up swimsuits, and we were selling them.
Yeah, and they still sell now.
There's no off season.
There's no off
for
season
anything.
Yeah, Chrissy, Frugal Living, she was at a cruise not too long ago while everyone else was freezing.
She needed a bathing suit.
She needed a bathing suit, and others on that cruise needed something too.
Lunch Money Hustle. Yeah, so I use Google Spreadsheets. I share it with him. I use my Google Spreadsheets to do my inventory log. I use it to do my our monthly budget tracker thing that I print out for accounting purposes. I input all our sales for the month in that. I share it with him. Expenses, our mileage.
Yeah.
It's all on Google for us. It's the easiest one. It's easy to use. It's easy to share. And
doesn't take up room on the computer.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have to worry about losing it.
Or being on the same computer.
Mm-hmm. And it's summer somewhere.
Summer somewhere, just like it's winter somewhere. During summer, we were selling jackets because again, it was winter somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another reason why we bring up don't be afraid of being of participating in the global shipping program.
Yeah. Because
with that, we've been able to sell clothing items out to Germany. We actually sold a few things to Germany and the UK. But they have totally different weather than we do. So
thank you. Up. Yes, my Space Kitty shirt. I got it in the kids section at Target. So you save money if you fit in the large boys' clothes
I don't fit in kids' clothes.
So I actually don't use Excel because I don't have it on my Mac, which is why I don't use it. And then I started using Google, which I really love, because I use Google Docs, I use the Google Forms and the Google Sheets, which is like Excel. And I use all the Google drawing things to make our labels for our bins. I just team Google for all of that.
Yeah. What do you got here? That's funny though.
How did you guys start? Well, Hugo was randomly selling.
And for years. So years ago, I went to a yard sale and I was like, you know what? Let's see what they got. Then I found these Japanese
Because why?
cards.
You were watching American Pickers and Storage Wars?
Like, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, I think it was binge.
Yeah, I got this Japanese card game. Sold it fairly quick because it was a rare item.
Mm-hmm.
not big bucks, but sold it and shipped it. Then I went and I found this blowtorch, and it went to Germany, and I was like, oh my.
He's gonna be the next American picker.
This is amazing. So I went off and I bought
all the packing supplies.
I bought about 500 small yellow craft bubble mailers and 500 large, and sold 2 other items and put that to storage.
And then that sat there for years.
Thankfully, it was sealed well, because then we had extra things, and during the KonMari, we started selling things from home, and yeah, so that started selling. So that was a little over. We started a year ago together.
Yeah, January 26th, which was just a week ago, we hit our years of reselling. And I joined him because he was starting to sell more, and things were getting a little bit out of hand in terms of inventory.
My pile system was no longer...
There was no... his inventory system was here.
I was like, what sold? Oh, those shoes? Hold on, register. Oh, it's in the pile next to the bathroom door, but the one that has a towel over it.
Yeah. And I think I got it for $5. So then I joined him.
Yeah. Now it's like, oh, those shoes sold. It's in the proper bin located in this facility.
I always thought resellers, especially in those shoes, were weirdos, and here I am reselling weirdo. No, we are not full-time. So we actually are personal trainers. We have roughly 10 or so clients.
Yeah.
A little over 10 clients. I also we both are lab instructors for a vocational personal training school, and I am the financial aid director there. And then Hugo does the day-to-day at my family's restaurant, and we take care of the accounting and bookkeeping for the restaurant as well. And then he takes care of his mom's rental properties here, and it's 2 rental properties. So
yeah, the couple of units.
He's the handyman-y on hand.
Yeah. Most things work when I show up, just because they decided to work. They're afraid of me.
But he handles like the rentals and the listings and the advertising and, fixing things here and there.
Yeah.
Working on your inventory system, that's great.
Totally handy.
There's never a bad time to work on your inventory system.
True.
Because once you have that in place, it's a lot easier to streamline the process. And then, yes, Mr. Fix-It. Normally it's like a wrench and then he just taps it.
If I've fixed typewriters, I do not recommend this. But I went, bam! And it worked.
Yeah, more like Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah.
With like luck on his side. Handy-manny tools sing and talk to you, Hugo.
I think he sings,
yeah.
I sing
to the tools. Rob's going to help me on building more shelves. I think Loretta needs like an entire warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
I think a whole warehouse.
I don't know if you have a basement, but you should turn your whole basement into
I think it is a basement. If you look at Loretta's stories, it looks a little dark, yeah. Handy Manny is a fraud.
His tools do all the work. I know. He's just the manager.
I mean...
Well, we're almost going to get cut off, guys. So before we get cut off, if you guys...
Orlando. Yeah, so I was a little naggy at Orlando to get his systems in line and to not crumple his receipts. So, naggy right here.
But it worked, because I'm sure you're doing a lot better.
What's the advantage of having a social media account for your presence? We learn a lot from social media. When he first tried to introduce me to reselling, I was super confused about how to list on eBay. I just didn't get it, and he was trying to explain it to me. I'm like, I'm a visual learner. I don't just show me a video. So I went on social media. I found some videos. I watched them. It helped, and I learned how to create an inventory system from just collectively from everyone else.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different people who did it different ways.
They gave me ideas, so I used it as motivation. And learning from other people, it made us want to get on social media and help others.
And interact more,
yeah,
too.
and interact more with other resellers because
we mentioned, too, that being a reseller can be lonely. We have each other, but outside of us, and we've gotten new friends and gotten great relationships in that. But outside of us, we don't have others near us that we can relate to when we have issues with the buyer.
I mean, like, locally, we have friends we know of some friends who used to do, like, Comic-Con reselling, but that's not the same. It was, like, Comic-Con came, they went, they loaded up on Comic-Con items, sold it, and then that was it.
That was it for the year.
But being online, social media has helped us reach out to a lot of people. We, are really good friends with Orlando, Pure Hustle Podcast. Jenny, my bestie over there in Riverside.
My bestie too.
Oh, he misses Will and Orlando. And
then we got to meet the ladies of Reseller
Oh
Revolution.
yeah, eBay Open.
eBay Open last year really was a big change for us, which is great. And so we recommend, if you can somehow manage to go
to eBay Open,
go for it.
Yeah.
And it's partially more not just for the eBay experience in terms of what they're going to teach you and give you, but the networking and getting friendships, because
you learn a lot.
Yeah.
We learned a lot from the people that we met. We were lucky enough to meet Loretta from Thrift Love Sell. We met Cindy from
Matt,
Amazing Taste. Cindy and Matt. We met Yvonne, who we're doing the YouTube live once a month with. We met Christina, and Elle from all the women of Reseller Revolution. We got to hang out with them and pick their brain and, got some advice from them. And after leaving eBay Open, after meeting all these really amazing resellers, it really pushed us to get on it. Like, we came back with all this drive to just really kick it into gear.
Yeah, we did. I mean, there were certain policies that were happening with eBay that we weren't thrilled about, but we learned from other experienced resellers that the policies are always going to change, and if you don't want to adapt, then this might not be the career or job for you.
Yeah.
So we want this to work for us. So we got home, adjusted, and kept pushing.
Yeah. Thrifting Cattle Lewis, our inventory is You can always message me. I love organizing stuff. So if anyone on here needs tips on organization, I will right here.
And it's for fun. It's not a burden.
I love doing it. So.
Yeah.
Here goes my best coworker ever.
That's why, like, when I hop on and I do random things, that's because I feel like I'm talking to a coworker. That's like if I'm in a cubicle, I stand up and start singing with the filter on. Doesn't happen to real jobs, but...
Well, he normally just dances all day. All day.
Yeah, I mean, that's
like
actually...
that filter?
That's just the filter, but
the
rest of the stuff actually happens. I constantly will have music, and I will do something random.
On the receipts, so I keep the receipts just in case. I don't think that there's never a bad time to have a backup system.
Yeah.
So I do input everything. I don't scan the receipts. I input into my little Google sheet, and then I save the receipts just in case. Because we deal with the restaurant, and so we know what it's like when we're called on receipts, even if we have it written down.
Yeah, it's still a process to find things and look things up. So we got less than 2 minutes.
Yes, but come to eBay Open, everyone. Tickets go on sale in March.
Awesome.
Super, super fun. Mad Rod just made it in. Hello.
Yeah, so we got trying to catch up in the chat here.
Tiff has changed up the organization game for us. Whatever
so,
I can
yeah,
do to
if you
help.
guys have any questions, and then if you guys have shipping questions, I'll do my best to answer them. I love shipping challenges, so I've gone to stores.
Organization challenge. Show me what you got.
Yeah, and I've gone to stores and I see something heavy, and all I think is, ooh, I want to ship you.
Yes, keep all your receipts. Like Loretta said, randomly audited when she was 22. Look, you can keep all your info as best as you can, but save your receipts because you never know. And you don't want to have to deal with searching for them later.
Or trying to
not
justify yourself.
Them.
Yeah.
Rita, you can just video chat me.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you ask me to show you what we got done, I will gladly show it to you. at any time. Okay, guys.
All right, guys. So we're about to get kicked off in like 15 seconds. So before we do, thank you. Catch our live on YouTube through Yvonne's channel and keep up with us. We're gonna do our best to put this on YouTube.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.